the whole episode is like you and I just like.
We're just casually rocking out to Harry Styles.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it says?
Yeah.
Not bad.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of On a Couch Talking Sports from in a Car. As always, I'm Robbie. This is Kyle. Kyle, how are you tonight, buddy? Really? This is how we're gonna start. This is how we're gonna start off the episode. Amateur. No, I'm just kidding. Good. Glad to hear you're doing well. It is very cold out, but that's okay. There's snow coming.
Yeah, I heard tomorrow.
It's all good, yeah. But we're New Englanders. We're prepared for it. I know, it's okay. Hey, you're going to be all right. You're going to be okay. But what we wanted to do tonight is, obviously, if you watched last episode, you know that we were broadcasting from where we're broadcasting tonight, or from where we're broadcasting tonight, right across from the glorious Boston College campus. Yeah, very special place for sure. So what we wanted to do tonight was sort of take you back through some of our favorite memories of BC sporting events that we have been to, Kyle and I, because we've been to a bunch over the years.
Oh yeah, so many.
Especially here on the BC campus. I think we've done basketball, we've done hockey, football. There's been a lot of them. And so we wanted to sort of take you through some of our favorite memories, in a sense, from our experiences right across the street here at the various sporting venues of Boston College. So, Kyle, what when you sort of think back, just for your time knowing me and stuff like that. Because when you sort of think back to the games we've been able to go to and the events, what sort of comes to mind, what sort of stands out for you when you sort of think back throughout the years?
Well, it's hard to pick because I would say two particular events that we went to. One was a little while ago, and it was, I went with you and your dad, and it was kind of like a rainy football game. I remember it was like right outside, right? Was it?
Well, no, I don't think. Well, no, you weren't just me. It was that was BC Florida. That was back in high school. BC Florida State. Yeah, it was like pouring, and I took the T in, and then and they were number 2 in the country, and they lost to Florida State. But yeah, I remember that was a fun time that we had.
Yeah, it was like one of the first times. I think it may have been the first football game that I went to there. I could be wrong. But that was the first one that really pops in my head when I think back, like way back, when...
That was a night game, too, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The lights.
Yeah. Oh, my God, yeah. It was so much fun to watch. It was like, I just liked watching BC because they really are a great team.
Yeah.
And, I feel like they've always been really consistent throughout the years. It was just a really great game. Despite it was a little chilly, a little rainy. I think it was like back in, when did we watch? Like the fall, winter, something like that? Or?
It would have been like October, November, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and I think, because I was still playing football, so
yeah,
I still kind of had that.
No, because I remember from that day that you were supposed to have a game that afternoon, and then we were gonna go. Yeah. Your game got postponed till the next day, because I remember I went to the BC game with you Saturday night, and then I went Sunday. I think it was either morning or like early afternoon, and saw you guys play Norwood at home. I remember, and you guys won. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I remember that weekend.
Yeah, it was a cool game. I remember we even brought these cushions or something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, definitely. Right. We were sort of up in me and my dad's old seats up in the balcony there, up in sort of the upper deck. So So, that was, except for the loss, that was actually a really cool experience. That was actually sort of one of the ones I was thinking of, too. But I know you said you had another one that popped into mind as well.
Well, so the other one I had, because I remember also we saw some of the hockey games as well, and I remember I really liked. We saw them more. Those ones are actually a bit more recent.
Yes.
One I believe I remember. I think we saw on the road in Worcester. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the DCU Center for the Northeast Regional Finals, the NCAA tournament. And they played UMass Lowell. Yeah, you and I went to that. That was all fun. And they won too, which is great. By the way, fun fact: the DCU Center in Worcester, I believe, I could be wrong, is the only sports venue that I have been to where the team that I was rooting for has won every single time that I've been there.
Whoa. Cool, man.
Yeah, because I've been to, not to get too far sidetracked, but I've been to the Wellesley High Girls Basketball State Finals, our senior year in high school, when they won to win it all. And then I've been to, I think it's either 4 or 5 BC hockey tournament games there as well, and they've won every single time. So
there you go.
That was pretty cool.
It was just that was the only time I think I've ever been to there, the DCU, and it was a really nice venue actually, and it did kind of remind me a little bit of the BC ring too. And I remember going there for a couple of the home games, and they were a lot of fun. I love just the whole kind of vibe. I'm just going to talk in general about the rink going there, because we did go to a couple of games in the past few years.
Over there.
Right, yeah, there you go. And it was cool because I liked that. What was it? I liked how. I just liked how BC had their own kind of vibe there.
You really liked the band. You really liked their band.
Yes. For one thing, yes, I absolutely love their pep band. I just thought they were rocking it the whole time. And some of the remakes, as you know, as I've told you before, and probably have said in the shows before, or episodes before, that I actually prefer the, especially when it comes to, what's that song, Iconopop or whatever?
Oh, yeah, I love it, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I don't care, I love it.
Yeah, I never really cared, well, yeah, exactly. I never really cared for the original version, so I,
He didn't care for the original version.
Didn't love it.
But he did care for and loved the pep band version.
Yeah, it was so freaking good.
Shout out to the BC pep band.
Absolutely loved it. You guys killed it. You guys were just they were just amazing. But not only was the pep band really good, but I also like going there, and they had a lot of really good food there.
Yeah.
One year I remember they had these Boston cream, I think it was cupcakes or something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cookies, pizza, I mean the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and just the vendors, the food vendors they had, I remember I think the most recent game I went to, they had chicken fingers.
Well, that's actually the last sporting event you and I went to together was back last February when we went to that BC Northeastern hockey game.
What?
When they scored 10 goals.
Yeah.
And I kind of razzed the Northeastern student section a little bit. But watch that episode if you want to hear that story.
He had a terrific burn.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. Oh man, every time we talk about that, I was one of us always brings it up because it was just so freaking mind-blowingly amazing. So
yeah. I may or may not have alluded to the fact that they no longer have a football team. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
But yeah, and the other thing, just a really quick note, it was so funny because I think it was that particular game. I remember when I went there, they had these for some reason they were just giving out soda for just to try. So they
I think I remember that. Yeah.
They had a special flavored ginger ale, and then they had cream soda Dr. Pepper or something like that. So
that's right. Yeah, that's right. I remember you were drinking that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty wild.
It was funny because I don't really drink soda usually, but they were just giving them out for free. So I was like, okay.
I don't usually drink soda. When I do, I drink that.
Yeah, exactly.
I am the most interesting man in the world.
Yes.
Or at BC. Yeah.
Man. But yeah, that was pretty much my overall experience. It was very positive, so I really enjoyed, football and hockey especially. I thought I really liked
No, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, obviously the games that I thought up were obviously that BC Florida State football game that you and I went to, which was a ton of fun again, despite the loss. Great environment as always, and really enjoying. And obviously just all the hockey games that we've been to, because like I think back, you and I have been. We saw them play Providence here. We saw them play, I think, Merrimack. We saw them play Merrimack here one year recently. Yep. We saw them play BU, which is always a great matchup. Obviously,
love watching those games.
And then obviously we saw them play Northeastern the most recently. But then we also have seen them play twice now in the Bean Pie over at TD Garden.
That's right.
And obviously the game out in Lowell out in Worcester that Kyle was alluding to earlier. So we've seen the BC hockey team quite a number of times over the years, and always is a good time whenever we see them. I'm trying to think. I don't think that they've actually lost a game. That you and I... No, that's wrong, because they lost, obviously, the two Bean Pie games. But at home, they have not lost a game that we've been to. They've tied once, but then they won the other three.
There you go.
But yeah, no.
Just goes to show.
Just goes to show. There's good times, let the good times roll. But yeah, no, that was, like I said, anytime that kind of I've been able to go to like any sporting events, especially like some of these BC games that we've been to, we've just had a great old time, and we always enjoy it. And hopefully, fingers crossed, soon we'll be able to get back to being able to go to games again.
Yeah, I can't wait. I want to see hockey again.
We'll have to, sort of wait out a little bit longer, but hopefully it's moving in the right direction.
Yep.
So yeah, that's pretty much the core of our episode tonight. If you have any BC sporting events that you've been to that you'd like to chime in on in the comments, definitely feel free to drop us a comment, whether it be on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever. We'd love to hear from you. But now we're going to sort of transition on to the end portion of our episode with, I'll start this week with what's now is really Robbie's favorite football recap, because both BC and my fantasy football season have come to an end, speaking of BC. But the Patriots are still in action, and unfortunately they lost their last game against the Rams last Thursday night. It was kind of a one-sided affair. They didn't really play that well on either side of the ball, and just was very disappointing, given that it was kind of a must-win for them if they want any chance to go to the playoffs. So unfortunately, kind of have come to the realization that the Patriots will not be playing in the playoffs in 2020 for the first time since 2009 or 2008 season. Was the last time they did not make the playoffs. So, definitely frustration there. But they do have 3 more games left in the regular season, including Sunday at Miami, who they beat once already this year. So hopefully they can get back on the winning track and at least close out the regular season on some high notes. So we'll have to wait and see there. But now, as always, I turn it over to the Suze himself for another edition of the Suze Reviews. Take it away.
All right, well, I've hopped on the Prince of Persia train. I've reviewed 2 of the games so far from the Sands of Time trilogy, so I might as well complete the trilogy and review the 3rd. So, for those of you who don't know, I've been reviewing this older game series that came out in the early to mid 2000s called the Prince of Persia series, the Sands of Time trilogy to be specific. And Prince of Persia, for those of you who don't know, is based on an older 1980s, I believe it's 80s or 90s side-scroller that you get to hop around, jump. It's like a platformer, but you also have to flick switches. It's based on time. You fight people, and you have to save the princess from this evil vizier. So basically, they remade the series in 2003. And they had this whole trilogy that was really epic. The first game was kind of like a big reinvention. It was in full-blown 3D. came out for PS2, Xbox, GameCube. Actually, all three of them did. And yeah, it just kind of revolutionized 3D, just action adventure games like that. And the third game is no exception. It is a great game. It's called Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones. No, not the Two Towers, if you're getting mixed up with your Lord of the Rings references there. But yeah, it's called The Two Thrones, and it's the final chapter in the epic trilogy. And I think story-wise, it really is pretty solid. Like, everything, it really does feel like the final chapter. Everything does come to a nice close and everything. And what's interesting, so the first game, you're in his main city, Babylon. The second game is like the dark, gritty game, and despite the kind of differences between the different gameplays in the first two games, the first game was kind of more of a linear game. You progress from area to area. The second game was more of kind of like a free roam. You could kind of explore this giant island that you were on, essentially, and it was really cool. And they updated the fighting moves. So essentially what they did for this game, they kind of just combined the two gameplay elements. So what they did was they kept kind of the fighting style of the second game, Warrior Within, and kind of some of the grittiness. It was still rated M. The Two Thrones is still kind of a rated mature game. But what they did was they took kind of the core gameplay of the first game. So they kind of merged the two gameplays, and they kind of made it a little bit more linear, but you do fight more bosses like in the second game. And the prince is still a bit more grittier, but he's kind of fighting with his evil self, essentially, in this game. And the whole story is, he's trying to save Babylon again. He goes back, and it's all in ruins. Once again, it always seems to happen that way. But
Babylon.
Yeah, right? Babylon. But this time, the only difference is he is fighting with literally his evil self. And you actually get to play as two different characters in this game. You get to play as the prince himself, the main character from all the games, and the Dark Prince, his evil shadow self with chains and stuff. And it's pretty cool. He's a strong character. He's a good fighter and everything. But the only problem is his health bar drains, so you have to defeat enemies in order to stay alive. It's pretty cool, actually. It kind of puts a nice little spin on the game, and the bosses are really good. They kind of feel like God of War bosses. These big, larger-than-life bosses. Sometimes you do button prompts and stuff like that. And one of the things I really liked about the Two Thrones is that they added a new element. Is that you can actually be very stealthy in the game. You don't have to go in swords ablazing, swinging and trying to fight the guys all the time. You can actually sneak up behind people and take them out, so you don't have to worry about fighting all the enemies. You can actually sneak around, which was really cool, and I thought was a nice precursor to the Assassin's Creed series, which is essentially it's a big stealth open world type of game. But yeah, Two Thrones I thought was a really great game, very fun. People who really liked Warrior Within might be a little disappointed that it's not as much free roam, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that the following week, because there is another Prince of Persia game I did want to talk about that is a free roam game that kind of went back to that. But anyways, Two Thrones is a really great game. Good closing send off for the whole series. I say check it out, but it's still rated M. So if you have kids, maybe play the Wii version, because it's rated T at least. There's a couple different versions you can play, and yeah, go for the Wii version.
Nice.
Bring kids out. Yeah.
It's all about the kids, man.
Yeah.
But thank you, Kyle, as always, for that lovely review, and definitely check out that game. So that's going to wrap up this week's edition of On a Couch Talking Sports from a Car. Thanks as always, everybody, for tuning in, and until next time, he's Kyle. I'm Robbie. This is a car, and we will see you next. Yeah, no, seriously, this is seltzer. And we will see you next time here on a Couch Talking Sports. Bye, everybody. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I said, hey, what's going on?
I have no idea what song this is actually, but
no idea. I don't got a clue. We're just jamming out, good old jam sesh.
I mean, you guys probably thought I knew this song, but I literally have no idea.
Yeah, I know. You probably thought we you know, we're just rolling with the tunes, man. But guess what?
Your way of going to the doctor.
Nice.